And coming to you live from Kenny's basement apartment on this crisp January evening where we went up to an old lady's house on a hill and pretended to be plumbers. It's Sports Allegedly.
Welcome. Thank you all for joining us for this episode of Sports Allegedly on this 8th day of our Lord, 2025. Our first podcast of the year.
Is it?
It is, I think, isn't it? Yeah, because I don't think we've done one after the first. Yeah, I don't think so. Anyway, thanks for joining us. Lots to talk about.
We should have done this a couple days ago.
We're
late for the evening.
Yeah, we have a bunch, obviously, to talk about NFL because it's the prime of the season. It is now the greatest month of sports ever. Well, besides September, it starts it all. That's like the greatest, and maybe this is great. I don't know. Whoever.
I know. All right.
It depends on how you feel. Let's talk.
R.I.P. the season.
I know it's already almost over. It's the quickest 4 months of your life.
So only 4 months.
I think so. September, October, November, December. Yeah.
Well, you got to throw in August.
That was like the 31st.
But if anybody's wondering, the UFL is on its way.
Oh, nobody's wondering that, Jack shit.
Yes, we will have more football, and then the European League of Football will start again soon. And if you hear something blowing in the background, it's the heater because
it's cold.
It's cold in the basement. The basement is
cold out here.
It's a Chile. All right, where are we going first?
Let's do college. Let's do a little recap of last week's games.
Okay, because of your poops.
And we can start with the first one, if you want to, the Penn State Boise.
Boise State game.
Yeah, and Okay, so we both picked them to win. I had 38-27. You had 27-19.
Ooh.
That wasn't far off either one of our picks.
Yeah, well, 27-19 is closer to 31-14.
We're not getting semantics about that. But anyway. No, I mean, I kind of thought that's how it was going to be. I thought the 14-0 early, Penn State got on them early, and it probably tried to change up some of the way that Boise played. I don't necessarily know if it did, but
knowing that Boise was a one-hit team with just having Ashton Genty, and if you get to the quarterback's taken out of play, the wide receivers are taken out, your whole offense.
Statistically threw 3 interceptions, 23 of 35, 304 yards. So he did throw more.
He did.
And Ashton still got 100 yards, but it took him 30 carries to get it. It was a 3.5 point average. So
yeah, he didn't get it till the fourth quarter.
Exactly. So I think it's exactly how Penn State wanted to draw that up. Boise had a few more total yards because they threw the ball more. But Penn State controlled the clock, rushed the ball 216 yards versus 108, and they had almost 6 yards of play when it came that. So there was a lot of things that were, pretty close. But the 4 turnovers to their 1 is what killed them. I mean, just killed Boise, and that's what you've seen in some of these playoff games. Is some of these teams just aren't ready. I mean, they are just not ready.
No, you saw
when the shit hits the fan. It's just Indiana was one.
Well, Boise
was one. Give credit to Penn State because that was both games.
So in the first round, you saw every home team win, and in this round, you saw every team that had played the week before come in and win.
Yeah, no bye week teams won.
Yeah,
which is
now Arizona State broke my heart because they tried. But,
okay, well, are you moving on to
No. I mean, we're still in because Penn State did their defense held. Their defense did what it was supposed to. Get to the quarterback, hold Ashton Genty to. Well, they held him to 100 yards because he didn't have that 100 yards till late in the fourth quarter. And I know that it was Army's quarterback that ended up the year with the most rushing touchdowns after his bowl game.
Oh, possible, yes.
And Ashton Genty was supposed to come in and score touchdowns because Barry Sanders would probably be ahead, but they don't count any of Barry's
bowl games.
Correct. We didn't start doing that till a few years ago.
Well, and I think you get, and obviously I haven't seen how many games he's compared to, but no, I mean it was a good year for Boise. They made the playoffs. I mean, excellent year, 12-2. They were I mean, you can't fault them. It's just
They
teams
did
just
lose-
looked
well,
they
and-
looked lost.
And they did lose their defensive coordinator. He retired at the end of the season because he was tired of the larger teams sniping his players.
Boise State's did.
Yeah.
I missed that.
Yeah, he retired saying that, there's no way for him to compete if his guys are going to end up going to bigger programs.
Sure.
His guys that do well.
Well, that's kind of a go
Because they
thing.
don't have the money to pay for those excellent players.
No, it's a thing. It's definitely a thing.
So, but yeah, Penn State, I knew they were going to win. I did not expect for me to be picking them to go to the national title. So, there's that. That's a very big surprise for me.
Penn State? It's the best team. I've seen them since the.
Saquon Barkley years.
I think they're better than that. Even
I know,
that
but
team.
they were really good.
No,
in
that's
those
what I
years.
thought. That Drew Aller, he's a sophomore this year, was a true freshman last year. I think the key stat that I was looking, he never impresses me, but they're not a big throwing team. But
Katron Allen, the running back, he's a junior, so the year that he's having, I kind of expect.
I'm sorry, Drew's a junior. I didn't realize that.
Well,
I made a
the
mistake
running
on
back,
that.
The running back is a junior as well.
Oh, I could have swore he was a freshman last year. Maybe he was a freshman the year before.
And I'm kind of seeing if that running back doesn't go to the NFL as well as he's done this year.
The Warren kid is the
Allen. Allen for
Alar. Yeah.
No, it's Allen.
Oh no! Oh, you're talking about
Penn State.
You're talking about
The
Penn State.
State
I'm gotcha. I'm
yeah.
sorry. So Drew Aller, and he's 20. I did not realize he was that old.
I don't know if it would behoove him to stay in school
23,
for another year.
24, 25. Oh, I did not realize that. Anyway,
I don't know if it would behoove him to stay. It may not. He would probably go in the first round, seeing as how there are like 3-4 teams now.
Well, he's multi-talented. He was a 5-star coming out of high school. But what I thought most impressive, stats didn't really throw it out there. It's 13 to 25, 171 yards, but 3 touchdowns, no interceptions, and then you've got Tyler Warren, the top 5 pick, the next generational tight end of the NFL. I don't know if he's quite Brock Bowers, but Tyler Warren, put him on your fantasy, 6 catches, 63 yards, 10 and a half.
Is he going?
Yeah, he's definitely going. He'll be top 5 pick.
That's what I'm wondering, if they're going to lose their quarterback, running back, if they're going to lose their offensive weapons in this draft.
And that's the funny thing is they're, they're better. They scored 31 points. Well, no, they're just, you don't think of them as an offensive team. You just
No, they're
really
not
like
an
that
offensive
defensive
juggernaut.
team.
Franklin always has better defensive teams.
And you get those,
and that's what's lost them games. That's why Penn State's lost 2 games, is because they're not an offensive juggernaut.
And
they've always had great running backs. Franklin can get good running backs.
Well, yes, and that's what I was getting at, is like you just put these
he
teams.
Gets middle of the road quarterbacks.
These teams to get, but he was a 5-star. That's what's
nuts. But that's what I'm saying. He
and he's turned out better than what most would have thought.
Who was the last Penn State quarterback?
Kerry Collins. No.
No, he's in the NFL right now. He's a backup.
Yeah, it's it begins with this S, isn't it?
It's not Smoker.
Mm-mm. Anyways, you think about that or Google it.
There
I thought that was but I thought, Penn State, now they're going to match up with Notre Dame. We'll get to that game here in a little bit and review it. But like I said, we both picked Penn State to kind of win in a higher scoring game, just simply because that Penn State, we thought that Penn State would score some points on Boise, and they did. 31 points. And Boise, like I said, the turnovers, if they wouldn't have had the turnovers, it could have been a big difference.
So Will Levis was there.
Yeah, but that's not where he came out.
Trace McSorley's the one I'm thinking of.
Trace McSorley, yes. McSorley, that's it. Yeah,
McSorley's the one that I'm thinking about.
Yeah, he is. He's still in the NFL, I think.
He is. Is he on Giants?
Will Levis transferred there and then went to Kentucky. So
currently, Commanders backup.
Gotcha.
Yeah, he started out with the Ravens and went to the Cards.
He's
Patriots, Bears,
he's a Colt McCoy.
Steelers.
Yeah.
He just jumped. Yeah.
Well.
So he's currently on the practice squad of the Commanders.
Gotcha. All right. Let's move on to the Texas. Let's move on to who they're playing. Let's just do it that way.
Well, no, because we're going to get through. We can talk about Notre Dame.
Yeah, Notre Dame. We'll talk about Notre Dame. That's going to say who they're playing.
So Notre Dame goes into
That's tomorrow's
the Sugar
night.
Bowl.
Tomorrow's night game.
Yes. And they handled Georgia quite handily. Georgia had that look like they did with their other two losses. Like they just did not know what was going on. And I'm not going to blame Gunnar Stockton for the loss. I'm going to blame the whole team for the loss. Because Georgia did look like they did not want to be there.
Well,
They didn't look prepared. And like I said, they looked like they did for their two losses in the regular season.
Well, I just thought that
Notre Dame did a very good job defensively of containing their offensive weapons.
Yeah, I mean,
and controlling the line.
But what stars and what studs have you seen out of Georgia this year that makes
Well, you've got Etnine, you've got...
But there's not that many.
Beck was there, but I don't think Beck is a star.
I don't either. That's what I'm saying. I think Georgia had lost a little bit of that firepower this year, what they had.
They've got like 2-3 good wide receivers. That's just it.
So 200, Notre Dame held them to under 300 yards total. They only had 62 rushing yards.
Technically, Gunnar Stockton's first start.
Yeah, and they did fumble it twice, and they lost the time of possession. Which losing time of possession to Notre Dame is critical in that because they play such great defense.
Well,
and they run the ball.
Notre Dame will play a slow offense.
Yeah, they will, and they run the ball, and that's
and
the
for
deal.
Riley Leonard to be the leading rusher and for what he did as the
Which
quarterback.
doesn't surprise
Ball
you,
control.
though, because he's ran the ball. I don't think he really throws the ball that well, to be honest.
I know, but it's Riley. That's why I'm saying when this. And
He's 15 to 24 for 90 yards.
When you get to Penn State, that's where he's going to struggle.
You think Penn State's defense is better than Georgia's on the front line?
Yeah.
I mean, you might be right.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not.
This
saying
year, this year they are. This year they honestly are.
I really. We'll get to our picks here in a minute.
You know, you got the SEC. You got the SEC that says that it means more. Well, right now in the Big Ten, they want it more.
Yeah. Well,
and I always considered Notre Dame as a Big Ten team.
And they are practically.
Well, but their other teams play ACC.
So we both lost that game. We actually picked the same score.
Yeah.
41-28. We thought obviously that Georgia would put up more points than that. And, Gunnar Stockton didn't. I mean,
like I said, he wasn't horrible.
He had some moments, 20 and 32 if you're into stats. But, I mean, Trevor Etienne, 11 carries, 38 yards. I mean, no one could run the ball consistently to give them any shot of
that's why Riley Leonard was the leading rusher with 80 yards the whole game.
Well, yeah, correct.
But their ball clock control was
ran 62 yards,
and the offensive line for them controlling that defensive line for Georgia.
Now the time of possession was
also massive.
Time of possession was interesting. It was fairly close, within 3 minutes of each other, 31-28. But Georgia turned the ball over twice, and then had a couple drives late that stalled, or early. I meant that stalled.
Yeah, they couldn't get it in.
They just didn't look like they. You said not want to be there. I just thought they looked rattled.
Well, they didn't know where they were. They didn't know where they were.
And that's interesting for a Georgia team. So
that's what I'm saying.
So we both lost that one.
They did not know what the hell was going on. You look at that Georgia team. There was no prep. It looked like they were trying to play ahead to see that they were playing Penn State or Ohio State. They did not look at Notre Dame and say, "Oh shit, they're beating us 13-3 at halftime." And you give them 7, you score 7, so you tie that. Then you let them have a 3.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
So you lose by 13 points.
Well, and every time Georgia would get close, I mean,
it's not horrible, but it's not the best. It's not. You didn't capitalize on any.
No, they didn't.
I watched that game. That game was Georgia just didn't show up.
Like in the mud. They were just slogging along.
Didn't show up,
and that was it for sure. All right. We'll get to Notre Dame Penn State preview and pick here in a little bit. Let's talk about the other side though.
Yes, let's talk about my biggest disappointment in Arizona State.
You had them winning this game.
I did, and they should have won. 16 points in the fourth quarter.
I gained 2 games on you that round.
I know. Well, no, I thought we tied. Aren't we tied now? Didn't
I'd
I
have to
gain?
go
I had
back.
gained. I had gained.
I have to go back and look. Oh no, we didn't pick that for our picks. No, not those picks.
Oh no, I'm 2 up on you. I'm 3 now.
Oh,
Spread picks.
yeah,
Sorry,
spread
dude.
picks. Yeah, gotcha.
There's no way I can lose now. Regular season's over. We only do week 19 unless there's a tie.
Oh, of course.
Well, unless there's a tie, I'm not going to go through all that other stuff.
Well, of course he's winning now. Anyway, go ahead. Let's talk about Texas.
Well, I would have done it last
Texas.
season too. But
No,
you and
it's fine.
Destiny were tied, and I
It's
was
fine.
like 2 games back.
I think
Then everybody just kept picking the same games, and I was
Yeah,
like,
that's how it goes.
all right. So Texas, Arizona State goes into double overtime. Texas is the weakest team right now in the playoffs. They were the weakest. I thought they were the weakest team to even start out.
Who?
Texas.
They're the most talented, though.
They huge talent, but still the weakest team. And you start out 14-3, you get up 17-3, going into halftime, and Arizona State makes their adjustments. Arizona State comes out, pops 5. Texas gets nothing. Texas only has 1 touchdown in the last 2 quarters, and Arizona State gets 16 in the 4th quarter. 5 in the 3rd. So you're coming out with 21 points right there.
Correct.
So you go into overtime, and everybody's giving Quinn Ewers all these accolades for winning the game. It wasn't Quinn Ewers that won the game. It was the defense that won the game. The defense hadn't got the overtime, hadn't got the INT, then they would have played probably, I'd say, at least 2 more overtimes.
It really just embodies and I've always said this, there's 2 things about Texas that bothers me a little bit. Sarkisian's teams never seem tough, and now the defense looked good. Texas has a really good defense, and they held Scadaboo for a while. Now he got, obviously,
That's what I said. The second half adjustment, he went wild.
And I also thought, they have a Quinn Ewers problem. I've said that.
But Quinn Ewers was given so much praise for winning the game.
Well,
it was Quinn Ewers stepping up. It was Quinn Ewers doing this and that.
20 of 30, 320 yards, 3 touchdowns, no intercept, 1
Okay, that's cool for your stats, but you score 17 points in the first half and then only 7 in the second half.
No, I agree with that, but I thought that they could not run the ball. Arizona State was like, "Hey, we're not going to run the ball." Arizona State.
First half they went away from what
State,
got them there.
Arizona State outgained them 510 yards to 375. And rushing alone was 214 to 53. Texas only had 53 total rushing yards. Time of possession, Arizona State owned. The interceptions was even. Penalties was about even. Arizona State ran 37 more plays than Texas and still lost the game.
And that's why I thought Arizona State was going to win this.
Yeah.
That's really why I thought Arizona State had this.
And
game.
that's the scary part if you're a Texas fan, to watch them, that they kind of got ran over a little bit.
And who you have to go against next.
Yeah, and we'll talk about that.
So, I completely – Arizona did not disappoint me. I mean, they did, but
they deserved to be there. They did. They were one.
I'll tell you right now, it was one of the best games to watch.
Yes, it was. It
was one of the
probably
best
the best game so far.
Closest game, best game.
And it's not good. It's not good for them to say that, though. Like I said, if you're
for everybody that's going against the Big 12 and the ACC and saying that it should just be Big 10 SEC teams playing, Arizona State stepped up. I guarantee you BYU would have done better if they'd played. If they'd been in.
Maybe than like SMU ish.
Yeah. But I'm saying it would have been better games.
Yeah, probably so. Yeah. Okay.
Colorado definitely not, because BYU. If anybody didn't know, BYU killed Colorado in their bowl game. Was that same week?
Mm-hmm.
Just like Alabama got beat by. Let's just go into this.
They just didn't want to be there.
Alabama got beat by Michigan. LSU had to pull one out of their ass to beat Baylor, who was coming back on them. And South Carolina got beat.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're going to have...
ACC has not had a good...
No. And then, ACC only was 2-11, I think.
ACC was the worst.
Yeah. But but Ole Miss...
I think 2-9.
But Ole Miss goes against the number 7 ACC team, I think with Duke was, or something like that.
Good, yeah.
And they acted like they won the Super Bowl.
Well, I think that was a run up the score deal there for sure. To make that more. I think
to make it look better.
I think the FCS championships.
The FCS was the Jackrabbits in Montana State.
That was one of
the
was,
Bison.
That was
North
more
Dakota
exciting
State
games to watch.
And we watched that last night.
Yeah, it was good. It was last
Monday
night.
night.
It was good. It was really good. That was enjoyable football. All right, let's get to quick recap on Ohio State, Oregon.
Yeah, here's the game that I did not expect it to be a 20-point.
This was easy for me to call.
Oh, of course it was. Ohio State is playing.
You picked Oregon to win.
I did
not. I picked Ohio State with an easy 38-28 win. Not too far.
Not too far. It's really not.
And the key of that though is you watch, and I've said that last week about Ohio State, is Ohio State looks like a team on a mission.
They're playing angry.
Losing against Michigan, they're going to fire their coach, etc.,
Didn't make it into the Big Ten title game.
And
they're playing very angry.
34-8 at halftime.
Playing angry.
Yeah, they are, and they're on a mission.
Oregon could not do anything on offense.
No. So outgained him 500 yards to 276. But here's the rushing key. Ohio State had 181 yards rushing, and Oregon had negative 23. They only had almost 4. And listen, we all love Dylan Gabriel around here, but let's be honest. Ohio
State's playing angry.
Let's be honest.
And
this was never a national championship quarterback. I'm just saying.
Well, but you've got.
And it was great. They were a 1 seed, and they barely beat Ohio State.
Ohio State right now is protecting their weakest link in their quarterback, Will Howard.
And I thought Will had probably the game of his life, to be honest.
But that's what I'm saying. Nobody got to him. There was like no pressure on him.
We talked about Oregon's schedule. They beat Illinois, which was a good win, but
they beat Boise.
But Purdue, but that was early. But then they beat Ohio State by 1. They beat UCLA. They beat Oregon State, Idaho.
You're saying they were falling off at the end.
No, they beat. I think that I never judge a team how good they are game 1 versus game 10. Especially portal days now. And that's good for Boise. And Boise, honestly, that's probably a bigger compliment to Oregon that I'm giving, to be honest, because they have such new people, new quarterback and everything. Boise was the one that probably should have won that game because they probably had the most consistent team left over.
Because Oregon,
because generally you don't have a higher portal than that.
Oregon's now losing Taz Johnson and somebody else along with Dylan Gabriel.
Yeah, I haven't looked at all the portals for them, but
no, not portal. They're going to
the draft. Yeah. But no, I thought their schedule was fairly easy too, and I thought they beat Michigan and Michigan. Michigan's a funny team because I never thought Michigan was worth the shit this year.
Team.
And then all of a sudden they turn around and beat Alabama. And I'm not saying that Alabama was all shakes too.
They beat Ohio State as well.
Exactly.
So Oregon was definitely not prepared for this game, and Ohio State controlled everything, front to back.
Well, yeah, and Will Howard
beginning to end
for sure. 3 touchdowns, no picks,
and nobody ever got to him. Yeah. But nobody ever got to him. Was able to pressure him, able to really rattle him. And
Jeremiah Smith,
he was able to.
He's number 1 pick in the draft if he could come to the draft.
Oh yeah.
I mean, this guy.
What is he?
He's a freshman.
Oh yeah. Well, and we knew that Ohio State had one of the best offenses coming in, but that Will Howard was their quarterback. We talked about that at the beginning of the season.
We were concerned about his not being a passing. And
like
guy.
I said, the way that this team is playing a complete game, both sides of the ball, and they are protecting their weakest link in Will Howard.
Yeah, but like I said, I thought he played well. 7 catches for Jeremiah Smith, 187 yards. You got to cover that.
But look at the losses that he was in. They got to him. They were able to stymie him. They were able to rush him, to push him, to make
Oregon
him make
still had 13 more plays than them. Penalties were really low. Turnovers were none. Time of possession was really close. It was just, and even third down efficiency. But Ohio State didn't get to third down. That was the deal. They got on them early, and Oregon just had to do a totally different game plan.
Henderson came on like he was supposed to.
And Dylan Gabriel is just not a guy that you put in there and score 27 points or 28 points to win it, or even 14.
But
you might get one drive.
That's what they had been, 30, what was their average? 30, 40 points a game?
Oh, for sure, yeah.
And then they get held to 21, I think was their lowest.
Now, there is some rumors running around rampant that we talked about this earlier. Jim Knowles, the defense coordinator for Ohio State, has been rumored to join in the Oklahoma staff.
You brought that on.
I am not. I think it'd be crazy to even think that would happen. I mean, he was at Oklahoma State. His wife's from here. I don't. If there's some animosity or something going on, maybe that's why. Because there was some heat to fire him early in the year.
Well, you also remember that Ryan Day had to hire Chip Kelly.
Yeah, I was reading a little story about that too. Is they had talked about
he hired ex-head coaches.
Sure, but he has really got involved in the offense since the playoff season has started, which is obviously understandable. 52, 56, 49,
well,
30.
He's doing better than Brian Kelly.
38. In their loss, they scored 31 points to Oregon. They got 35 against Iowa. They beat Penn State, but it was 20-13.
The Michigan loss
then
was
45. You got 38 on Indiana, and held to 10. Yeah, just crazy.
Sharon Moore's defense just came out of nowhere.
Yes.
And
they
like
killed
Tennessee.
That's
what I'm saying. They got
put up 42 on Tennessee.
Well, go look at the numbers. Go look at
41,
the numbers for Will Howard in that game.
He was 19 of
2
33,
INTs,
2 picks. That means a big difference.
Yes, massively. He wasn't running either.
And it was 2 but both had 2 interceptions. It was the
but Michigan was able to capitalize off those.
Correct, and the yards were low. It was just an overall that game was just
Michigan wore them down. Michigan just pounded them,
and that's what Michigan does.
But like I said, Ohio State is, for me, is the most complete team going in, especially with all of them playing angry. The offense and the defense, and the offensive line protecting Will Howard this much. Well, we've watched Will Howard play his entire career, because he started in Kansas State.
I agree.
So we know what kind of player Will Howard is. You get to him, you can shut him down, you can rattle him, you can win the game, because that is Ohio State's Achilles heel.
So what do we got?
But I don't think anybody is going to get to him.
All right, let's go Friday's game tomorrow. Where's that game at? I think it's the Orange Bowl, right? Notre Dame, Penn State.
It's Notre Dame, Penn State.
Miami.
Hold on, let me screw on down. There we are.
I think it's the Orange Bowl.
Thursday, January 9th at 6:30 p.m. because both games are 6:30 p.m.
Gotcha.
Notre Dame, Penn State. Penn State's the home team at the Orange Bowl.
It's about an even. It's about a pick-em here.
Yeah, it says Notre Dame's got 1.5.
Vegas Insiders won for Notre Dame.
When I took the spreads, I had to take them off ESPN because Vegas didn't have them. Vegas didn't have them at that point. So Notre Dame coming in, looking to control that Penn State offense. I'm going to say that Penn State gets to Leonard.
Okay, score.
Let's see. It's not ums and uhs in here. I've been noticing.
Do you
that.
believe?
I've just been noticing every time I see somebody speak and say and
Yeah, and you think I do that a lot. I do that a lot too.
I know you do it,
but I try not to.
But that's also
there we go.
There. I'm going to take Penn State at 34, Notre Dame 27.
Okay. I'm pretty close to that too. I don't believe in Penn State until now. I think the tight end Warren is going to play a big factor, and I think the defensive line is going to really shut down.
It's going to come down to both defensive lines.
Yeah, and
controlling the offensive line.
I've got it. You had 34-27. I've got 27-23. Little lower scoring game, but I'm still going with Penn State on this one. I think Penn State has the better defense. Now, the running back's coming back for Notre Dame, so he's going to be back.
Right. But like I said, It's possibly Aller and
and then
Aller
and Riley, not
well,
Riley.
no,
What is his name?
Allen.
No, Aller. And then what's the
The running back. The running back for Penn State. It's
No,
possible
but
they come back.
No,
for
what's the other
season.
quarterback?
Oh, Riley Leonard.
Riley Leonard. I was thinking, it's
You said Riley Leonard like 8 times.
No,
before
I
that.
know. I was thinking of his last name's Riley, but that ain't. It's Riley Leonard. I think he's gonna have to.
Riley?
I think he's gonna have to run the ball. But I don't know if they're gonna be able to slow. I think Penn State can slow him
Clock
down.
control. We're gonna look at clock
Make him
control.
throw the ball and put pressure on him, and I think you see some 5,
Now,
6.
one of the
man
funny
matchups
things
on that.
about this matchup, and everything about Notre Dame coming in,
I think it's going to be the
were
better
people,
game of
were
the two.
people that were throwing shade. Oh yeah, it's gonna be the better game
On James
But
Franklin?
People that were throwing shade. No, at Brian Kelly,
What about him?
the old Notre Dame coach who bounced and went to LSU.
No, I think
I saw a lot of people throwing shade.
Yeah, I
at
did
him.
too. I think Freeman is. He's not. I'm not saying
He's a better player coach.
Okay, I don't. I think sometimes I've seen some in-game management that's kind of been iffy. He's gotten better.
Yes. The Notre
but he's
Dame
got
Ohio State game.
But I want to say he's got 2 of the highest-paid assistants. They know what they're doing, and I think what he has done is he really has put a good staff around him to be able to make those decisions and not just be on the fly. He kind of knows what's coming now, where when he was younger, it was like, oh, shit, everything's hitting. Venable's kind of done the same thing. And Venables has got to get better at too. Not be so involved, and I think
And this is why if they do bring
but you're right about
they do bring Knowles in.
I don't even know. I don't think Knowles is coming, but it's just been rumored. But I think I think the deal has been good, and I think it's actually, if you're a Notre Dame fan, you should be. It's an improvement.
Massively.
You've got
Well,
a huge. LSU took somebody off your hands that was probably wearing out his welcome there.
A lot of articles were talking about Brian Kelly and the cope and seed that he should be having over Freeman taking.
And
his
James
team
Franklin is one of those guys that he is a good coach. I'm glad he's enjoying his fame right now.
Yeah.
Because he probably deserves it. It's just. He's been coaching with against these badass Ohio State and Penn State teams.
Michigan.
Michigan. So now you're going to be able to get to flop a little bit and not have to play them all the time. You know what I mean? And you have a playoff to show what you've done. Now, let's be honest. Penn State did get an easier road in the playoff, as did Texas until now.
And we saw with Texas easy because, like I said, 2 overtimes. Arizona State should have had that game.
All right, let's move on to.
So we come down to the next game: Ohio State, Texas. Slaughter.
You think it continues?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Quinn Ewers is just going to get beat up. That Texas team is not going to know what to do. It's going to be a repeat of the Oregon game.
I don't think it's going to be that bad, but I think it's going to be a high-scoring game. Texas defense is the strength, and that's the problem is they've kind of given up some late points and a lot of yards. So does Ohio State still continue the momentum? Problem is it's a Texas home game for them in Dallas. So the crowd's probably going to be heavy Dallas, even though it's a playoff
Ohio
game.
State team is playing pissed off.
I agree. I agree with them too. I think it's going to be a low-scoring game early, and then I think it comes into a little bit of a barn burner after halftime.
Well, yeah, I'm going to take it. I'm going to take it 41-17.
Oh, okay, well,
and I might want to go 41-10. I'm thinking 41-10.
I went a little better for Texas. I did pick 42 for Ohio State.
That's what I'm saying. I was thinking 42-ish.
But I got Texas scoring 31, probably a late touchdown.
No.
All right, and that's going to be it for that. All right, let's move on. So
talk about the.
We're both picking a Penn State.
Oh, it's
Ohio
crazy.
State Big Ten.
Yeah, it's a Big Ten national
championship.
title.
So
SEC, you screwed the pooch on this one.
Anything else college wise?
Well,
news.
We watched. Okay, let's talk about this North Dakota State Montana State game.
Okay.
We were watching this game, and North Dakota State was handing an undefeated Montana State their ass. What was that? 21-3 at halftime.
Yeah. It was kind of boring, to be honest.
And then it got really, really good. Montana State comes out, scores 15 straight, and then they trade touchdowns, and it came down to the wire. Montana State scores a touchdown with very little time. Try to get the onside kick.
Their defense just could not.
Tried to get the
them.
onside kick. They were so close to getting the onside kick, and they had him for the punt, and that punt was what killed him.
Hey, credit to Tommy Malott. 13-24, 194 yards, 5
Kid
yards,
played amazing.
2 touchdowns for Montana State, but he also ran for 135
yeah.
yards, which was nuts. But Cam Miller, you back him up. He ran for 121 yards and then passed for 2 touchdowns and scored 2 touchdowns. I thought the quarterbacks were just lights out.
Yeah.
It was a fun game. It was just a fun game to watch because it was kind of over.
Was it Lance that caught that falling touchdown before the halftime?
Oh, they made. Well, is that you talking about the 2 feet in?
Yes. Yeah, the 2 feet in for North Dakota.
Which was it actually 2 feet? Because we were like, oh, he only needs 1, but I couldn't
remember. He had the 1 foot.
Yeah.
I mean, he drug that one right along the line.
It was amazing. It really was, and it was one of the more entertaining games to watch.
It was a great game to watch.
And kudos to them. I mean, and obviously,
so
Montana State
is now,
they were the favorite.
Is now 1-2 or 1-3, 1-2, and they haven't won since 1986, 89.
That long?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. And North Dakota State has won 11 of the last 14 years.
I don't know.
15 years. I was listening to it on the radio and they were talking about it.
It's been impressive because you usually see, when they had to play South Dakota State.
You can hear right now.
The
heater has been turned on.
And only won 7 or only beat it by touchdown. So that was South Dakota State.
Well, that South
it's
Dakota
always
State
right
game.
There too.
That South Dakota State game was what everybody thought was going to be the best game of the FCS.
That was good, low scoring, but this one was, exciting.
Yeah. Like I said, after the second half, this game got very good, very good. And these teams not coming to the FBS.
But Cam,
very, very weird.
Cam Miller scored all those touchdowns in that game against San Diego State. He had 3 passing.
South Dakota State.
Against South Dakota State. For North Dakota State.
There's 2 different SDSUs.
Yes. And he scored all 4 touchdowns, or had a part of it. He threw for 3, run for 1. So they knew he was a running quarterback, and they couldn't stop him. Still, he had the good stats. So.
Hurts has returned to practice. Let's go to the NFL.
Dun, dun, dun. Let's look at the playoff games.
All right. Starting out on Saturday, July 11th, Steelers at the Ravens.
Let's do the early game first.
This is it.
No,
I'm sorry. I have the Steelers.
Yeah.
Chargers at the Texans at 3:30 p.m.
I can't think of a worse team to be rolling into the playoffs besides the Steelers, and we'll get to them in a second, is the Texans. What is the Texans doing? They look like shit.
They've lost
all year long.
They've lost 2 of their good wide receivers.
No, Nico's back. I
thought they lost another one.
No,
I know Tank Dell went out. I thought they had lost another one.
I think they're all back.
No, Dell had a knee injury.
Are you sure? Yeah, he did. He was the bad one.
Yeah.
Yes.
He was the
Cade.
He was the
Cade
Otten.
Was
it Otten?
You are right.
No,
that was Otten for us.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. He was did that horrible injury.
God.
Didn't he score a touchdown into it? Isn't that what it was?
Pretty much, yeah. Or he dropped it anyway, yeah.
And, of course, the Ravens are going to be without Zay Flowers, if you want to go there. He had a bad injury. So, Chargers are going to NRG Stadium to play the Texans. Chargers are favored by 3. I got the Chargers in this.
Hold on a second.
I can't look any other way, but Ladd McConkey's playing really, really well. Justin Herbert.
I think the Ladd pick was great. It wasn't as good as Bucky Irvin. We'll get to that here in a little bit. But but no, I thought they had a good draft because they had to get a wide receiver. I mean, you got to think about the Chargers got rid of their 2 most productive by numbers wise wide receivers, and Keenan Allen and Mike Williams, and they turn around and get this 82 receptions by a rookie from Ladd McConkey and 7 touchdowns. But the Harbaugh culture is legitimate. But no one is really talking about Justin Herbert. Even though he
Coach Harbaugh says that he remembers the day he was born.
But no, I think it's very impressive what they have done. I mean, it shows you how bad Dodo was at coaching last year. What was the old Brandon, whatever his name is? No,
I forgot.
Brandon Staley, I think was his name. The coach there was just horrible. And you watch them teams play, and you're like, damn, they got talent everywhere, and they just lose late, and they're just dumb decisions.
Well, and they blew that game. Remember, they blew the playoff game against the Jaguars.
Yes, they did that too.
They were up big in that game and blew it against them.
But I think
that's when we knew that he was not going to be coaching the very long.
That was a fact.
That was when we were like, which I had just screwed the pooch.
Which I had been screaming that he needs to be fired anyway. But anyway, but no, Quentin Johnson. If you look at the injury report, though, is Quentin Johnson.
But that just says no practice.
I know, but
and if that's today, then that means that they're not playing tomorrow.
That was.
If that report's for today, then they're not playing tomorrow.
Yeah, they do play tomorrow, don't they?
Yes. Oh no,
no,
2
they play
days.
Saturday.
2 days.
No, 3 days. It's only Wednesday.
Oh my God, what day is it? Oh,
They
then
play
that's
Saturday,
fine. Yeah, we have to look at the injury report for Thursday and Friday. They could just be holding them out.
I think the deal is the key one is Dobbins, if he plays for the Chargers. I think that Josh Palmer, Quentin Johnson needs to play.
Josh Edwards and J.K.
Yeah, they need the
Dobbins.
running back, and it looks like they were just limited.
Mm-hmm.
So that tells me they're going to play.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, you want to give them as much time to heal, and then say, okay, you already know the offense, you know the plays, but we do need you to take the reps.
Correct. So what do you got score wise? What do you think about this game?
I'm taking Chargers.
What's funny is the Texans always play on a 3:30 slot too. They had a stat on that. It was pretty funny all the years that they've played.
I'm taking the Chargers at a 30 to 19.
19, I like that. Okay. I'm pretty close to you, actually. I got Chargers.
I'm going to give them a touchdown on a bunch of field goals.
I got Chargers 27. I've got Texans 21.
I'm going to give the Texans a bunch of field goals.
Yeah, Texans 21.
Okay, Steelers-Ravens. This is not even – do we even need to talk about this game?
I think so, because the only
all
thing –
they're missing is a wide receiver.
I think that – but besides the last game –
and the Steelers
the Ravens
abysmal.
never play good against the Steelers for some reason. Correct? I mean, you got to give me that at least. I mean, at least give them a shot when it comes
always
to
weird.
that.
Well, it's always weird when they go into the playoffs and they play somebody from the AFC North.
Correct.
Because you remember Cincinnati always had their number, no matter what.
Yes.
But the difference is that Pittsburgh has 2 terrible quarterbacks. You're MVP.
No.
And
they're playing the wrong quarterback. Put Justin Fields in there.
That's
He'll do
your
much
MVP.
Better. Well, I mean, but he's not getting the opportunities to be MVP.
So
he's riding the bench.
Yeah, because Russell won all those games until the end of the season when.
Like we talked about, I was almost right, but it got harder at the end of the season.
I was almost right.
No, you were. I mean, I
had 9 wins. I said 9 wins.
Yeah, and I think I had 7.
And they pulled out a weird Jets win because the Jets were just abysmal.
Yeah, they had 8.5, and everyone had the. I had them at 8,
yeah.
And they won 10. Yes.
And I had them at 9.
Yes.
Oh wait! Oh, here we go. Let me get the sheet.
The sheet.
The sheet. Kenny had Pittsburgh at 8 wins. I had him at 9 wins.
I'm not disagreeing with the call.
And they
on
came.
that.
Okay, so they came in. You remember you talking about the hardest schedule, the strength of schedule.
No, right at the end.
They came in with a 3. They came in the season at number 3. And from what I could,
I mean,
gather,
the Commanders should have beaten them.
What I could gather on the internet, they ended with the number 10.
Oh, okay.
Which is going to end up being the number 10
Sure.
hardest schedule.
Sure.
Whereas the funny thing is the shift.
What did I miss? I think I missed the Washington game.
The Jets game and the Washington
Jets.
game.
Okay. And they beat the Jets pretty easily, and obviously the Jets.
And
were
I had
horrific.
them losing the Jets game.
Okay.
And.
But we had the first 5 or 6
we
games
were
right.
First half of the season, we were correct.
And we probably got most of the right at the end.
At the end,
honest.
yeah. I'd have to go look at it. It's actually on there, but I had to go look at it.
No, I think they play a really good defense, and I think that they're probably the worst 10-7 team I've ever seen in my life. I've got.
Did you not see the Chiefs?
No, they only have one loss. I'm gonna
Two
go.
losses.
I'm gonna. Oh, did they?
They lost to Denver 38-0.
Oh, that's right. I don't count that one. 27-17. Steelers actually keep it close. They get a late score. So 27-17. What do you got?
I'm gonna go with a 27-20.
Closer.
27-20. Yeah.
Interesting.
I like that missed extra point.
I think
I really like a mixed extra point on
I
that.
think Derrick Henry really runs on them pretty good. Just to
Lamar.
just to keep the ball.
Lamar and Henry are
Just to keep
both going to show their wills and their ability to get free.
9.5 is what Vegas Insiders got. Same for ESPN.
For ESPN.
Yeah. Would you lay money on that game and go Ravens? Because it's right there at that line.
And with the 43.
Because I've got them 10, you've got them 10. So I guess we would.
Yeah.
So.
Definitely.
All right. What is up next?
What is up next is the Sunday, the January the 12th game.
Oh, we've got 3 games that day on a fun-filled. Oh, this is going to be so good, so good.
You know what? Let's start with your late game.
No,
Let's start with. I'm gonna run. I gotta run. I'll be right back. Let's start with your Commanders Buccaneers.
Okay.
I know that you're just gonna drone on about the Buccaneers.
Do you want me to talk about the Tampa?
I know that you're going to.
So you've got to make an exit. And
I'll be right back.
Okay. So.
And I don't have any special surprise. I wish I did.
No, I think
a flag or a blow up.
I think that obviously 10-7 Buccaneers won the division. They did outlast they did out Atlanta. I like that. They did outlast Atlanta for the division, the South Division. Atlanta obviously went to overtime, lost against the Panthers. Now, Buccaneers last Sunday played the Saints and pretty much pissed that game away the whole time until, well, they won it in the end. That final on that game was I pulled up the Washington. Let me hold on. Let's talk. I'll pull up that because that was Saints that we wanted to talk about this last game because at one point it was 13-3. All they had to do was win and they're in, and was kind of blowing that game. Obviously, that was a big game for Mike Evans. Needed 80-something yards to be to get 11 straight 1,000-yard receptions for a wide receiver to start his career. He did actually get that. It was a huge play of the game. They were up by 8 at the end, and so you're thinking the whole time, do not throw a pick, do not throw a pick, do not throw a pick. He didn't. Got him 9 yards when he needed 4 or 5, I think. Baker Mayfield had another impressive game, 21-32, 220 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception, had some big runs. Bucky Irvin, actually leading rusher, 19-89. And I thought that the beginning of that game, they just came out really flat. Saints and Rattler, like I said, controlled that game. Was up 13-3 one time. Then I think they got a field goal. And you're sitting there and you're watching at the same time as Atlanta. It's at Atlanta playing Carolina. And I'm watching that game because you couldn't get Tampa around here. So I'm watching the Atlanta game, we're not gonna talk tonight about the surprising teams, and I'm not gonna put Carolina in a surprising team. Carolina looked better as that season went on. They were a tougher out.
They beat teams they weren't supposed to,
and they beat Atlanta. And Phoenix.
Well, they won
good.
games that they were not
That's
supposed
exactly
to.
right. But no, I mean,
quick update: OU just lost in basketball.
Did they really?
80-78.
That's a horrible loss when they were up by 15 or 16.
Yeah,
that is a horrible, horrible loss.
Yeah, they just lost that game.
Damn, that's a bad loss. Bad.
Sorry to interrupt that.
Because after halftime, see, they were outscored by 11 in the second half, and when we left here with about 16 minutes left, we started. It was up by 15.
What was it, 15?
At one point. That's a bad loss. I mean, and not to get off on that, but they started at 13-0. That's 2 losses in conference. I mean, Porter Mosier's got to get that team together and win these big games down the stretch. It's just bad.
I'll give you the Alabama game they should have won, but this game. All right,
back to this game they should have won.
Back to Washington. No, there's an interesting stats coming into this game. Is Washington is in the top 5 for pass defense, but in the bottom for rush defense, and Tampa Bay is the exact opposite.
Yeah. Yeah. Tampa's defense has been suspect.
And
put it
we
mildly.
kind of expected Todd Bowles to be fired, but
No, I don't think that. But
I don't think it's going to happen now.
the rumor was Liam Cohen was going to be the coach in waiting, and they're still going to have to do that to figure out what they're going to do.
I know they're waiting on Todd Bowles to have a bad game, but Baker and the boys have just been playing really well.
Yes,
Now-
and they have, and not he should be probably top 5 MVP.
Now, coming into this game, you have
And then you got Jalen Daniels,
you
Rookie
have
of the Year.
you have Tampa Bay coming in with a seasoned quarterback who has been to the playoffs once. Seasoned wide receivers. Seasoned wide receiver.
Right
I
now,
guess you get
yes.
tight
just
end.
one. No,
tight
I mean it's
end.
just one.
Did
I mean, you got
go? Is
he's
I
on,
still
eh.
know. You still have a suspect O-line.
Better though, much better.
But yeah, much improved.
Yeah.
But then you come in with the Commanders, who has a seasoned coach, who has been to the playoffs, a rookie quarterback, and literally, I would say, pretty much a rookie team that has never been to the playoffs, have they?
I think that's why I'm leaning Buccaneers a little bit here, because I like the running game for the Bucs. I like the O-line, especially Wirfs. He's a future Hall of Fame tackle. And then you got Mike Evans. McMillan, the rookie out of Washington, has played extremely well. Like I said, I've already mentioned Bucky Irvin, the rookie out of Oregon, was great draft pick.
But Washington has some sleepers.
They do.
There were a lot of
McLaurin,
guys.
McLaurin is
Their running backs are nothing
way,
to sneeze
way
at.
underrated. I just think you get a rookie quarterback. Now, here's the deal. What quarterback doesn't make mistakes is probably going to be the team that wins. And we've seen Baker. I mean, he's thrown 16 picks this year, over 41 touchdowns. And I thought Jalen Daniels, his first half against Dallas wasn't the greatest, but it was kind of one of those deals. I don't know how much they were really putting emphasis on that.
This is why I'm looking at it to come down.
I think it's going to be the mistakes.
It's going to be whoever has the ball last.
That or the mistakes is mine.
But whoever has the ball last, 24-23 Washington.
24-23 Washington.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to go 20.
I'm just saying it's going to be a fun game. It's going to be one of the funner games to watch.
And I'm close to that. I'm going to go 27-24 Tampa.
Right,
I'm
we're
going to
jump
Tampa with the home
up
team.
to the noon game now because
Sean,
I'm back.
give me real quick. Hop back down there. Was that a 3-point spread?
3, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
What did I pick? I picked a 1 point.
And I got 3.
Yeah.
So push.
So we go back to the noon game. The Denver Broncos, the new kids on the block, along just like Washington Commanders, coming against the old hand of the Bills. The streaking Buffalo Bills. Would you say the
MVP?
we picked them so many times.
MVP?
We picked them so many times to go to the Super Bowl.
MVP?
We picked them so many times to go to the Super Bowl, and the Bills have let us down in either the semis or the finals.
I'm going to kind of lean the same on this one. The Bills are a 8.5-point favorite. I think that's a little high.
It is.
But they're huge, and they play so much better at home, and so they do have
It's gonna be cold.
The home game. It's going to be cold, which is not going to bother
Denver
as much as some of the other teams would.
I think the defense is the big difference in this. I think the Bills' defense.
And see, and I do, and is that a good thing or a bad thing? I lean
For this game, it's a good thing.
I really lean back to what I said just about the previous game with Tampa. I'm going to take the seasoned quarterback over the rookie, and I like the Bills here. I think it's closer than what my score indicates. I'm going to go 42-24.
Oh man, that's kind of where. I'm gonna take a 38-17.
But I think
I think kudos to the Broncos for making it.
No,
to
I think
the playoffs.
Sean Payton should be right up there with Coach of the Year. It's probably going to go to either Dan Campbell or it's going to go to who am I missing? That's just really
LaFleur.
No, it's not going to be him.
O'Connell.
O'Connell from the Vikings. It's going to be probably one of them two. But Sean Payton should be right there. And I think Bo Nix, if it wasn't for some of these other rookies, he'd be right there in Rookie of the Year talk. Because he's had a hell of a run as a rookie.
The 3:30 game on Sunday.
Yes,
I forgot where I was.
Sunday.
My old man brain kicked in. Green Bay is going to Philadelphia. They have lost their leading receiver, Christian Watson. I don't know if Love is going to play. I haven't seen anything on him.
Looks like he's going to play.
Looks like he's okay.
Yeah.
Is Jalen Hurts playing?
Yes. He's practicing, so he's been out. So he's going to work the rest off, which is odd a little bit. That might hurt you, might not. I don't know.
You have the offensive. I would say Saquon Barkley should get the MVP for everything that he did, and the fact that he got held out for that game,
which he chose to.
Well, no, he
they didn't make him. He chose to.
So, I don't see why Saquon Barkley shouldn't be the MVP.
I would put him second
for everything that he's done. I know that
I think
Josh Allen has done a lot.
I think you have two really good receivers on that team. I think you have a quarterback that's mobile and can run too, so that helps your running game. Now, I'm not saying it doesn't with Josh, but James Cook is very mediocre compared to Saquon Barkley. I'm not saying he's mediocre compared to the league, but to him he is. Mm-hmm. I think you got Amari Cooper, which is a nice pickup, but otherwise you ain't got any. You ain't got the stars like they do. I think the talent.
Now Josh Jacobs has been having a very good season.
I think who?
The Packers running back, Josh Jacobs.
No, I'm talking about I'm talking about I agree, but I'm talking about MVP talk. Yes.
Oh, MVP
talk.
Oh,
yeah. That's why I think that's why Josh Allen gets it, because his surrounding cast is not near as good as what Jalen Hurts and Saquon.
Yeah, somebody asked a question earlier about besides Josh Allen, who else on that team really stands out? And I was like,
Amari played well,
and I was like, well, Khalil Shakir.
The few games without
but
him.
you're going to take the games that they had without him.
But you're going to take Devontae Smith and AJ Brown over him? No.
Shakir?
Yeah, no.
But if you look at Josh Allen's.
No, you're not. I mean, Josh
Allen fell off with Shakir.
No, those wide receivers on the Eagles don't get the love and the stats because they ain't got a quarterback that throws worth a fuck. Oh, did I roll that in? I did, didn't I? I'm just saying. Kenny Pickett numbers look better throwing wise when he was in. Probably should have picked him up in my fantasy quarterback, but anyway.
Our favorite video of him throwing the ball right into the ground.
Yeah, that incompletion was bad. But anyway.
You were like, no, he got touched.
No, he didn't.
He didn't get touched at all. He threw it right
No, I think it's good, though, the Eagles. I got the Eagles.
And they still want to fire their head coach.
I think there's some problems there.
They've been to the playoffs repeatedly.
There's drama in
and the Super Bowl.
There's drama.
And they still want to fire Sirianni.
There's drama inside. But, I mean, don't you think the Eagles are probably one of the most – I mean, they're obviously the most talented team in the NFC East.
Oh, and Fiago's defense has
much
really
better. They've looked night and day. Yes,
turned a lot of shitty players.
That's why I'm picking the Eagles in a close one. I think the Packers scored late, 31-28. I like the Eagles.
Ooh, I wanted that.
I like the Eagles just to maintain the clock, and I think the Packers, like I told you earlier, along with the Steelers, are the two teams that are coming in playing just the worst football right now, coming into the playoffs.
Yeah, lost to the Bears.
Yeah. And Love was hurt, but
I'm taking that 31-28.
Oh, copy. What do we got? What was the spread?
4.5.
4.5. All right. God, if I put money on that, I'd probably still take the Eagles and added a couple points to that. All right. And then we got Is this the big game?
Monday.
Is this the big game?
Okay, so this right here, 7 p.m. Monday, the January 13th. Minnesota's only favored by 1. What this is a trap game. This is a trap game of them going in to SoFi, which it may or may not be in SoFi, depending on the wildfires.
Now, right now, the NFL says not right now.
Because currently the game is
there. This is Wednesday night. Yeah.
The game is there, but it could possibly change to Arizona.
Yes, that's the alternative.
They would take it. The alt spot is going to Arizona Stadium. But we saw Detroit go into L.A., and I believe Minnesota went into L.A. too, and they both lost there. Did they not?
Say that again. Are you talking about the Rams?
Both the Vikings and Detroit went into L.A. and lost.
I mean, you've got to look at the Rams right now as playing one of the better. I mean, they're playing some of the best football. Obviously, the Bills lost because that was that high-scoring affair, if you remember.
But going into SoFi is a dangerous trap game.
As the season went on, they barely beat the Cardinals. I mean, the Vikings did lose at the Rams. Yes, you're right.
Okay, so they beat Detroit and they beat Minnesota in L.A.
Where do you see that Detroit game at? Did I miss it?
It should have been.
I don't think. Yeah, they would have had to have played them.
Yeah, they had to play.
Is it early? Let's see. There it is.
Oh, no, it is. No. Okay, so the Rams.
Hell, that was the first game of the year.
Okay, so that was six in overtime. They lost. The Rams did lose.
Yeah, because week 2 the Cardinals killed them. Yeah, and that's what we thought. Okay,
the Vikings have already. Okay, so here it is. So the Vikings have already gone into LA once and lost.
But the Bears beat them. Of course, that was at home. The Packers beat them at home.
I'm saying look at SoFi. Look at the home.
The Dolphins beat them at home.
Because the Bills went there. The Bills went to LA.
Yeah, the Dolphins beat them at home, though. I mean, so it's
two of the top teams.
I like the Vikings here. I really think the Vikings make a bounce back, and I think how they do it is that defense. That defensive line that the Vikings has. Everyone's talking about Kevin O'Connell. Sam Darnold's the comeback player of the year. I don't think he is because I think it has to be injury related now. But I mean,
LA has taken a lot of rookies. Remember, they lost Aaron Darnold, and they have taken those rookies, and those rookies are doing very well on that defense. And they have come along as the season has developed.
I don't think it's a game here. I think Vikings really win big here. I've got them 38-24.
I'm going 20, 23, 21.
Who?
Rams.
Ooh, with the upset. And the reason why I say that
if it's in SoFi, if it's not in SoFi, then
it could be different. You go back to You go back to not an alternate. What do you call it? What is the word?
Alternate.
No, it's an alternate. But what do you call it? It's when it's two sites that. It's a site that's neither one of your home field, and it's called a what? Why am I missing this word?
Alternate.
No, they're going to an alternate site, but you call it when you go to a equal home place. God, what is this called? Neutral. There we go. Neutral is the word. Neutralize me now, and I'm out.
Your knuckles are turning into your hands.
All right, so there's our one difference right there. We picked all the same ones, but besides that, so.
But like I said, that is if it's in SoFi. If it's not in SoFi, I'll give the Vikings the advantage.
I still give the Vikings advantage because I think they're going to be hungry after that last game against the Detroit Lions. The Detroit beat the shit out of them. Excuse me. I don't think there was. I mean, that game was nothing.
We watched that game, and our surprise on our faces were, what in the hell is going on here?
Yeah, it was just, and I thought Sam Darnold looked like old Sam Darnold with the Jets.
But Minnesota played a very good, complete game. They just could not get into the end zone.
Score when they got in the red zone. Yes, exactly.
They could not put it away when they needed to. And you remember what? It was a close game, wasn't it? Up in here. Y'all gonna make me lose my mind. So yeah, we're looking at a 10-6 ball game going into the second half.
Yeah.
And then it's
it's still 9-20 or 17 going into the fourth, and then they give up the two late scores. So,
yeah, and Jahmyr Gibbs just taking it away because those were his touchdowns.
It was 13. I'm sorry, 9-13. Why am I missing the math here?
What are you saying? 9-13. That's 14.
I'm sorry, it was 17, not 17. 17-9.
I mean, you're still within
for
two
sure,
scores.
For sure.
You're still there, and then Gibbs just.
I'd like to take credit for drafting him last year as a rookie in my fantasy league.
I'd like to.
That no one had ever heard of Gibbs.
I would like you
just
bitching and
pounced
just
on
having
that
to take
shit.
him, and then bitching that Montgomery got all the rushes.
And Montgomery's hurt. Hey, but that's another thing. Speaking of that,
he still up?
He's coming back. Looks like he's going to practice. So I think he's going to be back. So, which is good. Not because no one's playing fantasy, but anyway, anything else on the home front we want to talk about?
Well, coaches, we were going to do a little bit of coach
Oh, that OU basketball game's bad.
I know.
God.
Shut up.
Thunder lost tonight too. Cool.
I blame you. I blame you and your hypocrisy.
Well,
We were going to talk about coaches because right
bad.
now, Antonio Pierce just got fired today.
cool. As he should.
For what? For one season and not having a quarterback?
Listen, I'm gonna tell you something.
Okay.
I
Put some knowledge on us.
No, I mean, I think some of these interim coaches, they win a few games and the owner feels like all the players wants them.
They weren't
Well, don't do it.
An interim coach.
Like Gerard Mayo. I mean, why hire? Why?
Jared Mayo. Dude, Robert Kraft came out and was giving him the biggest praise. Even when he fired him, he gave him the biggest praise.
Yeah, but that's a backwards pat on the back.
It is.
Yeah.
It really is.
I mean, that's horse shit. It's like, hey, I didn't give you a good team, but I think you're great. But
Same
we're going to go ahead
thing
and
that
fire
happened
you.
to Antonio Pierce. Antonio Pierce lost his best running back and was given no quarterback.
I'm not saying he was
You're
a bad
giving
coach.
Aiden O'Connell and Gardner Minshew.
I'm not saying he was a bad coach. I'm just saying he was never going to work out there.
But at least 2 years, give him a quarterback. The guy never had a quarterback. And Eberflus,
I totally agree.
he should have been fired a long time ago.
He should have never
But
got
when he
hired
was
back.
fired, all of a sudden the team's defense went to crap.
Well, and Gus Bradley got fired too, so.
Salah's teams was in. Salah got fired, and their team went to crap. Dennis Allen, fired.
Good quarterback, not a good head coach. Or, I mean, good coordinator, not quarterback. Coordinator is what I should have said.
You're still on the Derek Carr train?
Derek Carr had one of his best seasons under John Gruden. Why is no one interviewing him?
Who, Gruden?
Yeah.
That email shit.
I know, but I mean, who cares?
Well,
I mean, well, hold on.
because
You
the commissioner-
hold it.
remember what he said
Hold
about
it.
the
Hold it. You look at the players that's in the league, they'll fucking drag their pregnant girlfriends downstairs or beat the fuck out of them. They're still playing, and you got a guy that's going to
Hey.
give some opinions on that. I mean,
and
come on.
they will beat women that they're not even in with. They're just
I'm just saying.
you remember the Kareem Hunt?
Don't give
Kareem
me.
Hunt was a random girl.
Don't give me this whole.
Kareem Hunt beat a random girl in a hallway in Cleveland.
Ben Johnson, obviously, is the hot figure. Detroit's offensive coordinator. Brian Flores, I notice, is getting some jobs. Interviews. Pete Carroll. We'd like to
Carroll.
thank the Patriots for.
The Dallas Cowboys, thankfully, denied Chicago.
I
An
saw that
interview.
and I went, no.
Thank Christ. I still say it's Kingsbury.
Has he even interviewed yet?
No.
No,
I think it's just he's playing.
It's Ben Johnson. He's gonna get.
Well, I don't think Ben Johnson's able to interview right now because
He's already interviewed. He's on a bye week. He's already interviewed.
Oh, has
yeah,
he?
Yeah, and with the Patriots. It's like, what job would you take?
Okay, so
Patriots, for
Kingsbury
sure.
hasn't had.
And that's possible. Maybe he just hasn't had the
Who
opportunity.
would you take?
I'd take the Patriots job over the Bears.
Why?
More
Pete
stable
Carroll.
owner.
Pete's Carroll going there.
More stable owner. Better quarterback prospect.
Yeah, I'll give you that.
Defense is better.
You have no wide receivers. No, our defense was better.
Division's easier. No, it's not.
Yeah, it is.
Division's easier to win in. That's a few of those things.
Oh, look at you.
I'm just saying. That's why I'd take it.
Do you think there's any college coaches that might jump? Do you think Franklin
Matt
might?
Campbell interviewed for the Bears job, but I think the Bears are just interviewing 900 people.
Yeah,
just
they
for
are.
shits and
They're
gigs.
just going through. Do you think Franklin might?
No. He's a college guy.
You think he's staying?
Yes, I do. I think Matt Campbell's a college guy too. He wants to be an NFL head coach so bad he can taste it, but that's why he's not left Iowa State yet, because you just can't get that. No, college coaches right now. Kirby Smart, I might have thought would have some interest.
What about Bobo? Do you think Bobo would have?
Sarkisian name has got brought up a little bit on some possible radars.
I wouldn't trust him with the NFL
because
team.
he had been in the NFL a little bit.
I wouldn't trust him with the NFL team.
So Kyle Shanahan did hire Clay Kubiak. I can't imagine he's not Clint Kubiak's kid.
Oh yeah, he's definitely Kubiak's kid.
Still going to call the plays.
Yeah, but he needs a defensive coordinator.
No, he's offense.
No, I'm saying Shanahan needs a defensive coordinator.
And then
I don't know why he let Wilkes
oh
go.
shit! And then it says also 49ers confirmed today that Niners are working to retain former defensive coordinator Nick Sorensen in another role. Don't know what that means because he was the DC. He'd also be interested in interviewing former Chargers head coach Brandon Staley. Get
Which
after
Brandon
that.
Staley was a good coordinator.
Yeah, I guess.
Horrible decisions. So, Spangula He's got 2 interviews.
He's probably the best guy that should get hired, to be honest.
Well, he was a head coach.
He's just old.
But he was a head coach.
No, but he's old.
And I thought
he's
that he
defense
was,
and old.
I thought that he was coming back in saying that he did not want to do it anymore. I thought his whole thing was that he's done being a head coach.
I think he would. I mean, there's only 32 of those bad boys, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Does he look like he's crying?
He will be.
This is my
Hey, the Tomlin deal is just one of those deals that, yeah, consistently being 8-8 and winning maybe a playoff game every 3 years is great, but cool. I mean, if that's what you want, and you want to have. I think the Steelers are more about having just 3 coaches in 60 years more than winning it all.
Yeah,
that's what it seems like.
Well,
because they always bring that up.
He's not losing.
Who cares? Yeah, exactly. Hadn't had a losing record.
Oh,
okay, cool.
And we've got to think that remember Tom Brady.
He ain't coming back.
No.
He ain't leaving North Carolina. I know.
Oh, I'm not talking about Belichick.
Yeah.
I'm talking about
Brady's involved.
I'm talking about what is his involvement in that?
Well, I mean, Mike Vrabel should be the guy he's looking at, but the Patriots have already hired him. They just hadn't announced it yet.
You've been bringing Vrabel up for a while.
Yeah, the Patriots have already hired him. They just hadn't announced it.
Matt Nagy had a couple interviews?
Yeah, I don't get that either.
Oh, Peterson was fired, so we've got the Jags are open.
You know, it doesn't surprise. That'd be the job I wouldn't take. Yet it's the easiest division to win in. You know, because there's no real star quarterback.
You just said that the AFC East was the easiest.
No, I said it's easier out of that and the NFC North. I was comparing the Patriots and Bears. I was not comparing every division. Obviously, the Jacksonville job to win in is the easiest.
So then we get this article for black coaches being fired after one season.
Well, I thought Rand Carthon getting fired as the GM was pretty bad. I mean, he had set them up pretty well. It was an odd one.
I don't know why Jared Mayo didn't get a second year.
Because they had Mike Vrabel's then. Yeah, that's they interviewed Pep Hamilton and Byron Leftwich. The Patriots did. I'm just like, come on. What's Pep doing? Wasn't he doing some UFL shit or some shit? And I know Byron Leftwich didn't even coach in the league last year after he got fired from Tampa. It's like, you know why they got interviewed. Just leave it at that.
All right. And then we've got why Jordan Reed has Cam Ward over Shadir Sanders. I think we all know that answer.
Well, I don't think it's a wrong answer, to be honest.
It's not.
No.
It is and it isn't.
I
wouldn't take either one in the first round.
I totally agree with that. Trade your pick. Tennessee, I know you need a quarterback. What you need to do, if I was a Tennessee fan, as we leave this as our pre-draft mixer till April when it happens. Talk to Atlanta about Kirk Cousins and see how much they'll pay out of that contract to take him off your hands.
The most hilarious thing that everybody looked at. Why are they taking Penix? We all knew. Well, because you had Jay Cutler 2.0 in there.
Well, and you couldn't leave Penix there. He was good. We all said he was good.
Yeah. Him being on the board that late.
I thought he was better than Nix, and Nix went after, obviously, but still, Nix has impressed me for sure. But no, I mean, quarterback, and then, I think, and he's not going to be a starter, but I thought Mariota played well in a backup role. I thought Cooper Rush.
I think he probably played
well. I thought Trey Lance had some good passes. Cooper Rush, Trey Lance for the Cowboys is our local flair. Both those are free agents. No contracts to go, but. If I was Tennessee, I would trade that first pick, not for Kirk Cousins, but see what you can get for Kirk Cousins on the cheap.
Who's got the first?
Tennessee. Titans.
Yeah. No, they might have to take contract if they do that.
No, I'm saying how much will Atlanta pay?
I know Shadon Watson's up.
Yeah. Well, look how much. Look how much.
You can get that piece of garbage for.
But look how much
cheap.
Denver had to pay to ship Russell Wilson to Pittsburgh. They paid most of that contract.
Yeah.
See what Atlanta will pay.
Justin Fields
to get rid
as well.
Of.
They paid. Yeah.
And just get a quarterback on free agent. If you can't do that, don't draft these quarterbacks. But there is one good, interesting thing to talk about is all these quarterbacks that are in the playoffs right now are first-round picks. Most of them are.
College football playoff?
No, in the NFL.
NFL.
Yeah. So most of them are high picks.
I wanted Jaden Daniels. or Bo Nix at the Bears over Caleb Williams.
Oh, for sure, hands down.
And they keep.
I wouldn't say Bo Nix. I will not say I said that.
Well, they
I was
keep
not a fan.
talking about. They keep talking about his.
I still would have traded though.
His holding on to the ball, and his ball control, all that stuff, and how the coaches have let him down. And I'm tired of hearing about how coaches have let these quarterbacks down when these quarterbacks aren't willing to change. These quarterbacks aren't willing to understand that the NFL is massively different than the NCAA.
Correct.
Your D lineman is running as fast as a linebacker.
Just because you're speedy don't mean you can go outside and beat everybody.
But that D lineman is running as fast as a linebacker.
Yeah, you don't want a guy that's run first. You want a guy
college.
that can pass. Now Cam Ward, I don't know so much about. I need to
I
probably
want a guy
watch
with
him
good
more.
Decision making.
Yes, I need to watch him probably a little more. Shedeur Sanders to me just doesn't have the talent. And
No, he's a Chris. He's going to go in as a Chrissy Sims.
Well,
Remember
yeah,
Chrissy Sims?
no,
We knew
Chris,
that-
but Chris couldn't run the ball well.
But
you know,
he's going to go in as a Chrissy Sims.
he looks more
where
like
he's
a.
not going to make it.
He looks
He's
more
not
like a.
He's not an NFL quarterback.
You know, one guy that listed in that worked actually in the NFL a little bit, probably more, and we compare him to some of these guys is Mike Vick. We never thought he was a good passer, and he lasted a long time in the NFL because he could run too. But he was super fast.
Yeah.
I don't know. And we'll get into it later.
See, I always loved Randall Cunningham.
Well, yeah, but he wasn't.
He wasn't an accurate passer,
Yeah,
but he
yeah.
was fast, but he was still a better
But
quarterback.
never won really a bunch of big
Yeah.
games either. So, all right, thank you all for joining
All right.
us. We'll see you next week. Big playoff talk. We'll have national championship
natty.
for the college football play, and then we'll get past round 1 of the NFL playoffs,
Hopefully.
and we'll talk about that too. So we'll see.
Hopefully, we'll be able to do Monday.
So we'll see
Like we
you.
should be
Yes,
doing.
Monday. Yeah, because aren't we going to do our game? I thought we were going to do our game.
We are, but hopefully we'll be doing.
We're going to do a pod and Monday. We're going to call our game and do a pod.
That's fine.
Seems
we
extreme.
we can do the game on Sunday, and then.
Oh,
the
that's
pod.
right. That's right. The game is on Sunday. So yeah. Sorry, we'll do the Tampa game Sunday. All right, sounds good. Thank y'all.
Bye.
I don't know why I thought Tampa was on that night. They're not.